I love those pink signs. Women for Trump. I love the signs behind me. Blacks for Trump. I like those signs. Blacks for Trump. You watch. You watch. Those signs are great. Thank you.
Sup, gentle people. Sometimes we wonder why we did ever left we yard and come up foreign. But I have no regrets because the experience, the opportunities, and a lot of other things are here that we never had, especially when I was growing up. And it's just a wide variety of things, and success can be found anywhere. But of course, we know it's the strength of the dollar that we look at sometimes. Nowadays, I'm looking back and saying, we probably need to stop looking at that. There's so much going on in America right now, and there's a lot going on at home too. But some things are more pressing. I had one person say, "Oh, why don't you vlog about the dance hall and so on and so forth and the mix-up that's going on?" Of course, I look at it, and I do intend to do just a little bit of it. I don't want to get caught up in it. But these things that I'm putting in my videos right now are the things that really concern me, because it does not only affect me, but it affects those who are closely connected to me, whether or not you're here in America or you're in Jamaica or some other country. Once you're connected to me, then it affects you as well. So follow me to the next video to see what I'm really talking about, especially when it comes to DEI, diversion, equity, inclusion. Is that what you call it? Whatever the word is, diversity, I should say. I said diversion. Well, now it's a diversion because they're changing everything. And of course, President Trump says he is giving orders to criminally investigate any DEI hires. So watch your back if you're black. It's your girl Zero Diva Dion coming at you with another one. So sit back, relax, enjoy the view and the ride. It's Stardust and Entertainment 24. Information at your fingertips and much more. Of course, it's another great day that the Lord has given unto us. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Let us thank Him for everything that He has done, everything He's doing now, and the things that He's preparing to do for us in the future. Remember, He knows the plans He has for us. So while you're planning and working your plan, remember to take time for the Father, because He's definitely taking time for us. Well, with this breathtaking view of Miami, Biscayne Bay area, let us delve into the video that's coming up. And this time, you didn't just hear it from me. It's coming from the mouth of someone else. Someone that is definitely not as tan as my skin is. But if he can see it, why can't we see it too? Take a listen.
Hyperbole to say that Donald Trump is trying to bring back segregation under color of law in 2025. Not exaggerating. This headline should send shivers down your spine. It should cause you alarm and distress. The Republican Party used to be a party that claimed it wanted the government out of people's lives, to let business do what business does, not to interfere in the policies of private companies. And now, Donald Trump has dispatched. Let me go back. Remember when there was a kerfuffle about men trying to get hired at Hooters because all Hooters hired were the ladies? And Republicans roundly were opposed to this. Let Hooters do what Hooters is going to do. If that's their business, it's their private business to do what they want, hire who they want to do. And now, in 2025, because Donald Trump is a racist, a white supremacist in charge of the largest, most effective white supremacy organization on the planet Earth, the Republican Party.
Well, with all of that, I'm still saying we should not be surprised, because the Bible tells you, so it was in the beginning, so shall it be in the end. And of course, like any politician, they tell you what you want to hear so you can vote for them. And once the votes are in, then it's a whole different ball game. Let's continue listening.
He is dispatching, sicking his attorney general on private companies who utilize DEI to hire the people they choose to hire. People of color, black folks, Hispanics, women, LGBTQ. Pick your minority group. Donald Trump is so upset about this, he's dispatching her to threaten them with criminal prosecution for doing so. Here's the headline from Slate. Pam Bondi instructs Trump DOJ to criminally investigate companies that do DEI. This is segregation, bringing it back in 2025. Here's the article. On Wednesday evening, newly installed Attorney General Pam Bondi sent staff in several divisions of the Department of Justice more than a dozen memos within a 15-minute span, laying out the agency's new policies on issues ranging from reviving the death penalty, very important, the death penalty, to targeting sanctuary cities, to enforcing a strict return to office policy. One astonishing memo seen by Slate puts the DOJ at the center of President Donald Trump's widespread efforts to destroy any traces of initiatives that would create inclusive and diverse workspaces, otherwise known as DEIA. The new memo claims that it will target private sector DEIA initiatives for potential criminal investigation. I'm going to repeat that sentence for your edification and to drive home the danger that is taking place in America, again, in 2025. The new memo claims that it will target private sector DEIA initiatives for criminal prosecution. For criminal prosecution, not civil fines. Criminality, they believe, hiring black people is crime. It's a crime. What? Black people want to sit at the lunch counter with whites in a whites-only restaurant? Crime.
Sure, check out this next clip. Blacks for Trump. You watch. Was that the message?
I love those pink signs. Women for Trump. I love the signs behind me. Blacks for Trump. I like those signs. Blacks for Trump. You watch. Those signs are great. Thank you.
Eggs were expensive, everyone. Oh, the price of gas. Oh, the groceries. It's a beautiful word, grocery. Little known until I started saying groceries. Also, black people shouldn't have jobs. It's hard to overstate.
I love those pink signs. Women for Trump. I love the signs behind me. Blacks for Trump. I like those signs. Blacks for Trump. You watch. Those signs are great. Thank you.
I just had to make sure I was watching and hearing what I'm watching and hearing. Blacks for Trump. Those signs are great. Thank you. You watch. Now we're watching.
Both the constitutional wreckage this crusade will leave in its wake and the havoc it could wreak on the American workforce. In the name of protecting constitutional rights, Bondi's Justice Department is teeing up an all-out assault on the fundamental First Amendment rights to speak, organize, and associate. A request to the DOJ for more information about the memo has not been responded to at the time of press. The memo headed with the subject line, Ending Illegal DEI and DEIA Discrimination and Preferences, instructs the Civil Rights Division, historically charged with protecting the rights of vulnerable minorities, and the Office of Legal Policy to take a number of steps to attack any private companies that prioritize diverse workforces through DEIA programs. Bondi has given those departments a March 1 deadline to submit a report with their recommendations to encourage, the private sector to end illegal discrimination and preferences, including policies relating to DEIA and DEI. The memo then asks for a list of business sectors of concern within the Department of Justice and the most egregious and discriminatory DEI and DEIA practitioners in each sector of concern. It also asks for litigation activities or other strategies to target these private sector companies, evidently envisioning a coordinated agency-wide onslaught that would divert many attorneys' attention away from their normal areas of practice. Bondi says the DOJ will be working with the Department of Education to make sure that universities are in compliance with the administration's new DEIA mandate. Finally, and perhaps most shockingly, this is where, if you haven't been tuning in, if you're petting your cat or you're having a cup of coffee and you're just zoning out, pay attention to this paragraph, please. Finally, and perhaps most shockingly, the memo implies that some private companies may face criminal penalties for DEIA initiatives. That some private companies may face criminal penalties for DEIA initiatives. Specifically, Bondi requests that the plan from the Civil Rights Division and Office of Legal Policy include specific steps or measures to deter the use of DEI and DEIA programs or principles, as well as proposals for criminal investigations and up to 9 potential civil compliance investigations of these companies within the sectors of concern. The memo specifically cites the section of Trump's DEIA executive order targeting publicly traded corporations, large nonprofit corporations, or associations, foundations with assets of $500 million or more. State and local bar and medical associations, and institutions of higher education with endowments of over $1 billion. And then finally here, Bondi's purported legal basis for these actions is the Supreme Court's 2023 decision in Students for Fair Admission versus Harvard, which effectively ended affirmative action in higher education. She is correct that, broadly speaking, admissions policies that explicitly consider race and sex are no longer permissible. Her memo goes much further than the holding in that case. However, it claims that rigorous enforcement of the Harvard, college admissions ruling requires the abolition of all DEI initiatives, suggesting that any efforts to foster diversity and inclusion with regard to race and sex are inherently discriminatory. Indeed, her scant analysis seems to assert that the mere existence of DEIA policies, programs, and activities are unlawful, not just in public education, but in any institution doing anything at all, and that any employer or educational institution, public or private, now faces DOJ scrutiny, including vague threats of criminal prosecution, unless they disavow DEIA. And companies all across the board, Meta, Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg bending the knee, not only sending Donald Trump millions of dollars after threats of arrest. Target ended DEIA policies. There's all kinds of companies who are doing it because they are afraid, because they will bend the knee. They will not flex their muscle as a corporation in this capitalistic society. They're going to bend the knee to Donald Trump. They're going to join the cult and harm Americans. Diversity is a strength. Diversity, it's a strength. Diversity is a strength. And Donald Trump wants a white society. They haven't said it. They're not saying it out loud. Not him, not his administration, but certainly his acolytes, white supremacists, Nazi pukes like Nick Fuentes. They want an ethno-state. They want a white ethno-state. They want to protect European blood and all these immigrants and brown and black people and gays, the transgender hordes. They're poisoning the blood of our country. This is Nazi shit. This is Jim Crow style policy in 2025. What do you think? Share this video with someone who needs the information to spread the word. Slate, I think, does great work, oftentimes underappreciated and underreported. This is a scoop that needs to be broadcast. I hadn't heard about this story until someone emailed it to me. So thank you to the audience member who sent me this. It's very, very